Greetings and welcome to this week's episode of Vampire the Masquerade Beyond Armageddon. Before we begin, I'd like to make a few announcements. First, we are proud to announce that Sabbat the Schism is officially out now. Not only does it delve into the history and lore of the sect, it opens up multiple role-playing options for fans of the game, including new playable clans, elder level powers, and much more. You can find your own copy of Sabbat the Schism in the link below. Second, I'd like to thank RS Experiments, aka Mark, our local musical talent, for graciously providing the custom music you've been enjoying so far, including our awesome main theme song called Haven Dweller. If you enjoy any of the music used during the stream and you'd like to hear more, you can find a full library of Mark's work by clicking the link below to RS Experiments' SoundCloud page. Lastly, if you enjoy tonight's session and you'd like to see more, be sure to follow both our channels. You can catch us live most Sundays at 7 p.m. CET by tuning in to twitch.tv/RSAGames, or check out all our recorded sessions at RSA Games on YouTube. Links below. Remember to like, subscribe, and be sure to leave us feedback and suggestions in the comments below. We hope you enjoy the session, and without further ado, let us delve into the world of darkness in tonight's episode of Vampire the Masquerade Beyond Armageddon. We begin the night as all of you are preparing for the next upcoming event. As all of you have been in LA for about a week, you were told that very soon the Sabbat are going to hold the Gran Ball, a yearly event that the Sabbat host, and all of you will be joining it in Mexico. As you prepare, we join first Jack. Jack, what are you doing in preparation for the Grand Ball?
Well, I was most certainly reading my books that were sent to me. And I don't know, kind of expecting to meet some Cainite that I not really want to meet now.
Mm-hmm. And as you sift through the pages and study their contents, eventually, you hear stomps coming from the corridor as Larry passes by the door. Larry, what kind of
Hey,
preparations?
Jack.
Oh, please,
Sorry.
please.
Hey, Jack.
Yeah.
How are you doing?
Okay, I suppose. Yeah. Scared of the big event?
Why would I?
I don't know. Maybe you're afraid of crowds.
Hmm, didn't really have a chance to experience that, but I suppose not. Do I have to make any preparations?
You just take whatever stuff you need. We're gonna be there for a couple of nights. Provisions gonna be there. Place to sleep, I'm not sure about. Other than that, maybe take some books for light reading. I don't know.
You know that I'm not a reader.
Don't say that. You just didn't find the right book.
Maybe you can propose something.
Depends pretty much on your preferred type of medium. But mostly my books are about fucking occult. So I don't know. You like that?
I'm gonna just take a look at a shelf at a bookshelf of Tony's. Like from my just eye estimation, how fat is one tome that he has, like approximately?
Well, they vary, but
Yeah.
the biggest ones are thick tomes. Like it would take you a while to get through it.
Mm-hmm.
The smallest ones, they're never under 100 pages, so
Mm-hmm.
not this big, maybe a little bigger.
Mm-hmm. I will approach the bookshelf, take some moderate sized book, and just open it, flip through.
Okay. The book you take, as you flip through it, you see a lot of occult descriptions, mostly references to star patterns, um, references to the land beyond. A lot of it goes over your head. However, I would like you to roll me a quick int and occult to see how
How well I can decipher those long ass words.
if anything clicks. To see if anything clicks.
Word bigger than 7 letters. It's impossible. Can you roll it for me, please? I just
Of
forgot
course, I will have to
to
flip
enter
to the
the.
other screen because I can't show the journal where I
Yes,
have
of
all the
course.
characters. That would be spoilers for all of you.
Oh, ST is being sneaky.
Always. Okay, let's see. There you go. Let's open your sheet. And that would be. All right. So as you flip through,
Mm-hmm.
most of it goes over your head. However, one small reference in this particular book catches your eye. It is essentially a quick reference to a ritual. The ritual itself is not described here, but the reference of the ritual speaks of transmogrification of one being to another shape. This catches your eye due to your condition.
Is it like this specific ritual? Is it written out? I don't go reading through the lines, just reading
It's a
over them.
very simple, like it's a reference among a bunch of other references said in one sentence. So it's not the description of the ritual. It has no other information about the ritual. It just speaks of transmogrification, which is a word you know means the change of one shape to another shape. And the name of the ritual makes you think this is supposed to be used on someone.
Do you have anything else on transformers?
Transmogrification.
Yes.
Let me see. Can I roll to check if I have anything?
Please, by all means. It would be, in this case, since we're checking sort of your luck, do you have dots and resources?
Yep.
Then roll resources, please.
Oh yeah.
All right. You have a total of 2 books. How relevant they are to what Larry might want, that remains to be seen.
Yeah. These two are about somewhere in between about this topic.
Do they look thick?
One of them does. The other one's smaller volume.
Okay.
So one of them's about
Can I
this big. The other one's smaller.
Can I borrow?
Larry, you're essentially my brother. Can you? Of course you fucking can.
Thank you.
And
No
as the two of you have this discussion, Larry, you sort of turn, expecting to leave, and you almost bump into Jim, who seems to be in a bit of a hurry, carrying a bunch of materials.
I'm gonna let him pass and leave.
Oh my, sorry. Hey guys, have you seen Serena around here? Really need to.
All I've seen this night is a bunch of fucking letters.
Oh, fuck, okay, I'm gonna go check downstairs.
Just give her a call, okay?
Well, I'll try, but yeah, I don't have really much time. I need to prepare for a Gran Ballo. So,
Yes,
a little.
always fucking fast.
Well, guess what? I am about to try to organize a little fashion show there. So I really need some subjects who will be my puppets for my clothes. So I'm thinking of
Fine. I just
using
pull out my phone and
Schlachta
call
for
Serena.
that.
Echoing.
I just pull out my phone and call Serena.
Yep. As you call Serena, you hear from down the hall the echoes of Serena's phone ringing out loud. What's Serena's ringtone? Never gonna give you up. Never gonna let you down.
It's Funky
crazy
Town.
Okay.
It's Funky Town.
Okay.
It's won't you take me to Funky Town?
Yeah, and then there's a click. Does Serena pick it up or turn the call off?
Like he said, it was down the hall, and Serena just like the phone goes off, and she picks out of the room that holds some of her things that don't go downstairs, like books and clothes. Yes, you rang.
Yeah, Jim wanna talk with you.
Well, come on over here, Jim. I'm a bit busy picking a dress.
as Jim was running. Yes, I'm also kind of busy. I need your help. I know
With
you
what?
have plenty of Schlachter. I need to measure them, and I'd like to borrow a couple of them for my show.
You
The Gran
want
Ballo.
to wait. You want my Schlachter, the dog-shaped one. My Schlachter are dog-shaped, all of them.
Yes.
And you want to do a fashion show, I presume.
Yes.
Huh. Jack, what's our traveling plan to Mexico?
We either go with plane or with plane. What the fuck you expect to go to Mexico from LA?
Look, can we get the Schlacht on the plane?
Can we splurge a bit of money on that?
I have money. I have a shit ton of money.
Yeah, I also have a lot of money, so just fucking dip in and let's do it.
So is
Okay,
Larry,
fine.
is
So-
Larry flying solo?
Larry can
No,
get
we're
onto the
just
plane.
already paying a lot of money just to move Larry over the border.
I see.
Larry's coming on a plane with us. Come on.
Yeah, so might as well take a bit bigger plane.
Okay. Right then. By the way, Jack, just send me your crypto wallet address, okay?
My fucking god, just ask Leo about this shit, okay?
He can call me.
Uh,
Right.
As that is said, Larry, as you go down the stairs, you pass by the front door to see that outside is Abel. Abel, what preparations would you be making for the ball?
Abel's just going to prepare a stack of books to read somewhere in a quiet corner, I guess.
Okay. Since that's what you'd be doing, then, Larry, that is what you see Abel doing.
Greetings, brother.
Oh, good evening, Larry. How can I help you tonight?
Just passing by. I have a question.
Yes?
Why even bother by this celebration?
I suppose it's tradition, and our sect seems to be very keen on traditions.
That I know. And what are we celebrating exactly?
I think we are celebrating the fact. I think we are celebrating the fact that, well, our inheritage. Our history and the let's say
What?
the opportunities and the commitments that come with being kindred.
I see. Okay.
And as both of you have this conversation, Cecil seems to kind come out of the basement. And uncharacteristically, he seems to actually be dressed quite well compared to what you're used to. He's dressed in a red suit, like a red tux, with a black shirt underneath. And he seems to sort of adjust the shirt on himself. And as he sort of moves in this tux, he looks a bit uncomfortable. And he approaches the two of you and says, "This look at least presentable."
We'll be at our best. And in our best.
I don't think I am the right person to judge, but yes, it does.
Good. Maybe Jim didn't do so badly on this. The material's more comfortable than I thought. Larry, if you'd like, you can ask Jim for some clothes. He seemed pretty eager to dress you. I'm going to check with Serena if all the preparations are made. And he turns around, sort of once again adjusting the tux and straightening his back as he climbs the stairs. And we then join Serena, and along with Jack and Jim.
Yes, and her Schlachter.
Mm-hmm. Who is slobbering all over the floor and very confused about the lack of violence.
Yeah. Well, first of all, Serena actually, you know what? The Schlachter need to be fed anyway. You can give them each a bit of your Vitae, and they're probably going to be much more recipient to your, to you dressing them after it. Because the Schlachter is still going to be blood-bound to me, because I fed them so many times. But that should, make them more recipient to Jim.
I'll try to not to get eaten by the Schlachter.
You just cut your wrist a bit and just bleed out for them a bit.
By the way, I was thinking maybe Larry could join my little fashion show. I think he would fit well.
Larry!
Larry, you hear someone calling you from upstairs.
Yes, I was just about to leave.
I say to Abel and turn around and go up.
What?
Hello there, Larry. I really need your help. Well, you have a quite unique size and body, and it would be nice to dress you up for the party. And in return, I'd like for you to attend my little fashion show. You will quite fit well there.
Jim is doing a fashion show.
I don't think I've got enough elegancy for the fashion.
No, Larry, look here. And Serena points towards her 4 Schlachters.
One of which is sort of picking at one of the cloths that Jim has placed on it. It's sort of biting at it and tugging.
You will 100% be more elegant than the Schlachter fashion Schlachter fashion models. You will be the crowning jewel of the fashion show. You know, like how in fashion shows, at first you have the regular models. That's Schlachter. But then you got like the supermodel. That's you.
Yeah, Larry, you're gonna
What
be on
an
the front page of
embarrassment.
Cainite Playboy.
When you say,
And I'm gonna buy half the fucking production just to keep it.
There's nothing to be embarrassed of. I'd say people will love to see you in that dress.
dress.
No, it's not actually a dress, but well, you'll see it. It's quite a unique piece that I'm planning. It will be masculine, don't worry.
I
Up to you,
think even
Larry.
if you put sundress on Larry, he's gonna be masculine as fuck. Look at him. 2 meters tall. Huge as a fucking mountain. He probably is a mountain.
Well, it is going to be just a little spoiler. I haven't. I'm only starting the measuring, but it will be like a gothic theme dress with some specific touch that will be made exclusively by me.
Can you show me what you got in plan?
Well, I currently only have raw materials, so the fiber that I made, you'll be wearing. Well, it should
Show
be.
me something.
Fine, let's go to my room. I'm gonna show you my mannequins.
Agreed.
Larry has spent some time doom scrolling TikTok and looking at those fucking fashion gothic people. That was too good.
All right. And as Larry and Jim go into the small studio, Serena, you notice that the entire time, Cecil, dressed as he is, has been waiting sort of patiently to ask something, but he's been the entire time like struggling against the clothes, trying to like make sure they're nice and presentable, at least.
Does anything look tight on him or something?
He looks like... Imagine if you tried to put these clothes on someone who is both too big for the clothes and too small for the clothes. It's not that they look bad or, out of, they look like they were the wrong size. It's that he's not used to wearing stuff like this.
Okay. I just walk over to him and just like adjust his tie a bit. You look nice. Should probably stop pulling at it unless you want to break it.
Cecil looking at the clothes and, tugging one bit of it, just says, I don't know. Out of respect for the new packmate, I thought I'd give it a chance, but it feels demeaning.
I mean, you came in a tux once.
Yes, and I still regret it.
Doctors, we have to be kinda official, don't we?
Do you prefer like a long, old-timey, man like coat with arms and all?
Cecil just looks at you for a moment, and then with a hefty exhale, he turns around and begins walking towards the downstairs area.
Wait, did you want to ask something?
He simply heads downstairs.
Serena picks up the two dresses she wanted to pick and heads after him, chuckling a bit. He seems in a very good mood.
Right, and as you do so, we join Jim and Larry at the studio. Jim, what have you prepared for Larry?
So imagine Count Orlok from the old Nosferatu movie, the jacket. Now imagine it being a lot longer and wider with it's in a black skin itself. It has a lot of belts on on the arms and on the bottom part of the jacket.
Can I make a proposition?
Yes, of course.
Could we raise the shoulders of the jacket? Make them uncharacteristically high.
Oh yes, it's actually quite easy. Thanks to the new techniques that uses the wireframe textile, I can imitate any height. Or even width.
So very quickly, Larry, if you have it, I'd like you to roll me int and crafts. If you don't have it, wits and perception.
I have an intent craft,
Okay, then please do.
but the craft is wood carving, so
That's fine. That's fine. Any type of craft will help you here because you just need the basic knowledge of it.
3 successes out of 3 dice. Let's go.
Nice.
Miguel, you
nice.
can take my second downtime as a reference.
Yeah.
It can be useful.
Yeah. In that case, since you're giving me the reference, I've already read it, but just want to make sure I don't miss details. So essentially, you notice, Larry, as you examine the piece that Jim has made, you sort of feel it with your fingers, and it's almost like there's no wiring in there. But Jim actually, traces where the wire is, and you'd expect it to be like much more perceptible, but the way it's integrated into the clothes, it's, again, this isn't your type of craft, so you don't know like within tailoring how difficult this is to make. But you definitely would not be able to reproduce this like from scratch. So it's very, very impressive, to say the least. Especially since he doesn't have vicissitude to work with the materials that he works with.
I just feel this love. Look at it.
Not bad.
Well, it's only a sample, and I'll need to measure you and make sure that I have enough materials, knowing that you're not of the size of an average human being.
Can I have boots?
Of course, they're also included, and I'll need to also. What's your size? What's your feet size?
I don't know.
Well, we'll measure it.
Big.
And Jim proceeds to measure the size of Larry's feet. which is obviously beyond the range of possible human known size.
Well, it actually isn't, but it is within the what you'd call special care type of size. It's basically the type of size that you need to go to a specific tailor and ask them specifically to craft you clothes for this type of size. There are a few people in the world who are as tall as Larry is. His feet are about as big as you'd expect for his height. That said, he's not inhumanly big. He's just surprisingly big.
How long are his legs?
A good question. I would say, well, he's basically a little over 2 meters tall. So
220 maybe somewhere
Yeah.
there.
So his legs would be about half of that distance, almost. So yeah, pretty fucking tall legs. Let's just say that.
As Jim examines Larry's legs out loud, he's saying, For 40 pins it is then. Nice, I haven't seen such boots in a long time. I don't think anyone actually managed to do a 40 pin. Great,
You
great.
make them platforms.
Yes, the platforms. It's going to be 40 centimeters. I think that's gonna be enough. Yes, 40 is enough. So it's 40 pins and 40 centimeters. Nice. Damn, I really need huge ass shoelaces. Well, no biggie. Then Jim proceeds to measure the torso and then shoulders. Okay, I think I have everything I need. It will take a whole night, maybe a bit more than I need to take priority on your clothes first and then deal with the Schlachter. Yeah, it's gonna be a busy night. Thank
Can
you.
I be of any help?
At the moment, no, but I'll call you once the pasta samples are ready. You can go now.
I grabbed him by the shoulder.
I don't know what I'm signing up for, but I trust you. You can make it work.
I will make it work. Thank you.
All right. I will be sending you a PM later, Larry. And in the meantime, we join Serena, Jack, and Abel as Jack and Serena start to make their way downstairs in order to start packing things for the trip.
You know what I think? We should really
Serena's
buy our own
actually-
fucking plane so we don't have the fucking problem we got when we had to go to DC, okay?
Actually, Serena is in the basement with Cecil.
She's in the basement with Cecil.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did
Alright.
you miss the point where she followed him with
I
dresses?
was assuming that part has passed, but
I see.
if you'd like to be already.
No, they haven't found her.
Oh shush. No. You keep this shit
Tony, you're all
Twitch friendly,
alone and
please.
You hear some weird noises from the basement.
Twitch friendly.
I don't
Alex.
hear weird noises from the basement because I know they don't do it because
it.
we are home.
Damn it.
I mean, they're plain dressed to impress. What do you mean?
My fucking god. Really?
Like weird noises being Cecil's grumbling.
Yeah.
I think they're just playing trick or treat. You know.
We join Abel and Jack as Jack comes down to pack stuff for the trip.
Serena's doing the trick, and Cecil's getting the treat.
Abel, please stop. We don't need it right now.
Thank you, brother. You supported
we
me in my
really need-
point.
Is a fucking plane that we own.
I swear to fucking God. Okay,
Well,
but yes,
Desperately trying to hold the shit together.
You asked me to theorize what they're doing down there, so. But yeah, okay, yeah, I suppose a plane would be great, but do we have the resources for it?
Probably not now. We can probably get one on federal auction.
Right.
But too many options for me right now.
Well, how much does a plane cost?
Oh, so now you joined us from the basement.
yeah, we're
Didn't
going to say
notice
she
you there.
joined you.
General aviation airplanes cost like 100,000 to 1 million. I'm pretty sure between me and Jack we can buy one.
Why would we need 747?
Yeah.
At
Just
this
a
point, we can
jet
buy
stream would do.
this commission Concorde, okay? At least this shit gonna be faster.
Look, between the two of us and the money I have from my cash pig, who is now long dead, I should get another cash pig. Actually, I wonder, would my ghoul have a private plane?
It is certainly something you can ask him.
I text him that.
Okay. You send him the text.
Mhm.
He has not seen it yet, so I'll PM you when he does.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless. Is he still alright? I get it, he doesn't like to wear fancy clothes, but he's doctors now. He aspires to be archbishop, so might as well. Hello?
That's a really nice dress, by the way, Serena.
Yeah, Serena's basically not wearing shoes at the moment. She has an open back dress and her tail is wrapped around. And you also notice that she has a pair of horns. I mean, we are allowed to. It's Halloween, so, prosthetics is my excuse.
So you're going as Krampus.
She looks at you with the most dead look. And I guess you're going as boring, aren't you?
Oh, always. Yeah, I'm gonna take away some color from the suit, which is, by the way, 3-piece black suit, black fucking short. You know, they invented this fine paint that reflects basically what, less than 0% of light. I can boast around even better paint.
Right, so are we getting a private plane?
Your phone buzzes with the response. You may check your PMs. So yeah, you may act according to that response, basically. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Just the silence.
Anyway, Jack, we're just renting a plane, right? But we need to get the Schlachtes on it, and Larry, obviously. How are we doing that?
The creatures are coming with us.
Yes,
Yeah,
Jim is using
decided
them
to
in
fashion
for
show.
his fashion show.
And those creatures will also be explained by prosthetics. Or...
No, that's why. Jack,
Well,
if you'll need if you'll really want to buy a plane later, not right now,
fucking course.
Miguel can organize it. Off the books, obviously.
Well, I want nice fucking plane, so
Well,
would need to cough like 10, 15 mil for that.
I
We'll see
should
what you-
mention, for an expense this high, you can afford it, but it'll basically knock your resources to 1 dot each of you for a few sessions until you make the
Okay.
money back.
Yeah, sure.
I have a plan.
Okay?
As a proper
a
lesson, I
plan-
have a plan.
A plan might mitigate things. Just propose it once you have it.
Yeah, Miguel,
and,
you know my plan. You know my plan. You know my plan and you know his name.
I do.
Look, I let him know our budget. He'll have a look what he can, arrange for it. Okay?
Yeah, it's not present manner right now. So I was just thinking aloud.
But I suppose we do need. Jack, do you have currently a solution for Do you have currently a solution for getting Schlacht and Larry on the plane, similar to Vicus's?
I have to admit I don't. We can just go batshit insane on Dominate. Cecil, Abel, and I can pull it off. Or we might ask our good acquaintance.
Vicus.
Oh yes.
You're learning with him, you're asking. And
Sure.
Serena looks very, very much like,
You're sleeping with their
uncomfortable.
basically
Serena.
child now, so whatever.
Serena, check your PMs and react appropriately.
I already checked them.
Check again.
Them. Serena corrects him to them. You message them. And she adjusts her jaw and just walks away. Uncomfortable.
Okay. Okay. I would.
And actually, she just looks around. But my guess is that they already know that you're gonna call, so go ahead.
Yeah. I'm gonna call our most reverend Priscus.
Mm-hmm. As you do, the phone rings, and you hear a click. Jack! So, made a lot of progress?
I'm reading on it.
Good.
Got some program with Johnny. Progress with Johnny.
Good. I'm thinking Johnny might solve your problem now.
Which one off?
The plain one.
Very much appreciated.
Of course.
Would you be joining us in Mexico?
Potentially. I do have some business I need to discuss. And do tell your ductus about it. I'll be meeting with all of you.
For sure.
Well,
Thank you very much.
I'll be meeting with all of you along with someone else.
Very well.
And bring the priest with you.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Bye-bye. And there's a click.
See you around. Ah, gotta love that.
Somewhere Irish
Well,
looking around, just like, how much is it? How much are they spying?
I'll just go to the fucking basement.
Yeah, as you go to the basement, you see Cecil. He's taken the top of the tux off, like the jacket of the tux off, and he seems to sort of be, hanging it with one hand and sort of examining it, sort of like pulling the shoulders a bit, and he looks very uncomfortable doing it.
Cecil, I spoke to Priscus. They're gonna lend us a plane so we can move Schlacht and Larry to Mexico. They're gonna be there potentially for the meeting with you, and they want to see Priest with us.
Priest. What
Either
priest?
Serena or someone else. Oh, maybe it's Isaac.
Tell Abel. He'll arrange it. I'm not looking forward to it.
Need
though.
a help with that? I pointed tuxedo.
If you can manage. How do you walk around in this thing all day?
I look at his posture. It's probably not
His
good.
posture is shit. He has the
Oh, yeah.
posture of a scientist who constantly works like this.
Okay. First of all, no hunching. You're a proud man. Be that, or if you don't identify as man, be whatever you want. But be proud. Also, good tip for posture. Just imagine that your nipples shoot lasers and you try to hit people in the head. And don't give me that look. You're not gonna look like a fucking hobo on Gran Ballo.
Cecil sort of reaches back and he feels his spine, and after a moment he seems to sort of push his fingers in, and you hear this sort of cracking, sort of like if you take very dry wood and you twist it, you hear sort of a wet version of that sound, and his posture immediately corrects. Is this better?
Yeah. Try the taxon.
Cecil puts it on, adjusts it. Better. Not perfect, but better.
See?
Thank you, Jack.
You're welcome.
You may go.
Mm-hmm. I'll just go.
Mm-hmm.
If
Tell
Abel's
Abel?
Yeah. Tell Abel that potentially like us wanna see Isaac.
The most likely it's Isaac.
Yeah.
So, Abel, you eventually see Jack coming out of the basement.
Brother, we've got a curious request from our Priscus.
Yes.
They wanna see Isaac, I assume.
Interesting. Well, I don't know in what state he is currently, but I
State of
can
being
find
or
out.
state of United States?
I thought we were going to Mexico.
Yes. Do you mean state of being or state of United States of America?
The first.
I see. Don't you have his number?
I do. I will give him a call and see what he thinks about traveling.
Mm-hmm.
Do you call him now?
And, well, now is as good as time as any.
All right. Well, you dial up his number, and you wait. 1 ring, 2, 3. It takes longer than you'd expect, longer than he usually takes to answer. And eventually, you hear the click, and Isaac's voice speaks on the other end, though he doesn't sound quite like he usually does. His speech is a little slurred, and he sounds a bit out of breath. Hello.
Isaac, I hope I'm not catching you on a unsuitable time.
No. Just processing everything that's been happening.
I suppose it is a lot of things to chew upon at the moment.
The worst part is the loneliness, but tell me, what do you need, brother?
Well, if it is the loneliness, then I can help you a bit. In fact, I've been told to contact you to invite us to come with us to the Gran Ballo.
I'm not sure I'd like to go.
I totally understand you, but there is just this matter that the Priscus in Washington wishes to see.
The Priscus in Washington. I don't think I've ever met them. I know of them.
They are, well, different from anyone else I have seen before.
Fine. Only because you asked for it. When are we leaving?
We are leaving tonight.
I'll make some arrangements. Yeah, I'll manage. I'll see you tonight.
And just I'll see you when I see you.
You can pick me up at the church whenever you're ready. I'll be there.
We will be coming soon.
Yeah. And there's a click. And the call turns off.
I return to Jack and tell him that Isaac is waiting for us at his church.
Good. Almost dropped my laptop. I'm still curious why Priscus would want to see Isaac, but better safe than sorry.
Well, I'm not very keen on this idea either, to be honest.
Like, what's the worst that can happen, right?
Serena comes back
Oh.
up. Did you sort out the plan?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll just send Johnny a message.
Considering the state he is in, we might need to keep an eye on him.
Oh, who?
Isaac.
Oh, he's coming too?
Well, he was
Priscus
requested by the Priscus.
Priscus
mean-
requested to bring a priest along,
Well,
so
I hardly doubt it was me. Plus,
either
wouldn't really-
you are in their unfavor or they want to see Isaac. I don't know any other priests really.
Look, not like I or Cecil have much. Like, if they really wanted us to attend something, not like we would have much choice in that, okay?
I suppose.
So I'm assuming it must be the priest. So
Or I suppose to dig up Mancada somehow. Mancada.
he's dead,
Yes, but he was a priest.
and he's dead.
Yes. Still, not so
I don't know
unusual
how
of our
you of the
Priscus.
Zombra clan don't know it, because I know it, and I was in Camarilla back then.
Yes, I know it, but still wouldn't put past our Priscus to make me dig up the fucking Mancada.
I don't think there's much left to dig up. It was ancient.
Eventually, Cecil rises from the basement and, looking much more comfortable in the suit, with a much better posture, he sort of adjusts the collar and says, "Right, if everyone's ready, we're leaving."
About that. See, told you. It's everything about posture.
Abel, first of all, Jack, can you figure out how we're gonna get Larry and talk with Johnny about how we're gonna get Larry and the Schlacht onto the plane? Abel, could we put the Schlacht into your van?
I'd rather not. I have some books there, and
They will sit, I will sit with them, and they will behave.
I messaged Johnny, can we bring a U-Haul for that as well?
Johnny sends in response a picture. It looks like the same jet you flew in. The picture is from the back of the jet, and you see that there's essentially a huge cargo space.
Respond, yeah, we need to get there somehow.
You then get another text. Pilot has been instructed not to look at the personnel at all.
Pilot's not gonna look, so... How heavy is your Schlachter? Maybe Larry can just grab a couple and bring him over.
Well, there's 4 of them, and they're human-sized.
Compared to Larry, human sized is small.
Yes, like, look, fine. Do we still have that minivan? The armored one.
You still do, yes.
are the windows blacked out?
If you want them to
Don't
be.
worry about that.
Mm. Okay, then yeah, I think the windows on the minivan, the armored one, were blacked out. I think if they go back and somebody drives carefully, we can get them to the airplane. The problem is if somebody stops and there's Schlachtas in the back.
So someone with Dominate has to drive.
Yes.
No problem.
Okay, you take care of the Schlachtas. I'm gonna sit them in. I'm probably gonna have to drive with them, so that if anything, I can tell them to chill down.
Well, I
can tell them
can
to sleep,
drive
I don't
with
know.
you.
Cecil
I can
at
tell
some
them to sleep,
point,
but I'm not sure they're gonna listen.
Cecil at some point, rubbing the bridge of his nose, says, "If you're done planning, we can just do this."
Yeah.
Also, what are the arrangements for the flight?
Riskas are gonna lend us the plane.
I think it was
Come
Johnny,
on, they're
wasn't
a
it?
family too. Johnny is their ghoul.
I see. I see.
Okay.
I'm not suicidal enough to call Priscus Johnny.
I see. Well, don't worry, Cecil. Me and Jack are gonna get our own plane.
Eventually.
Off the books.
Let's just go. And Cecil exits through the front door.
Serena, duck walks all the Schlachter one by one into the car.
Yeah, they seem to be just mindlessly following you. And even when not really doing anything else, they just drool all over the floor. And the drool's always sort of mixed with a bit of blood from the only thing they're allowed to eat, really.
They can eat other things. They're just,
Yeah, it's the main thing they eat.
Look, I still put the safety belts on the Schlachter.
Yeah, they
Don't
don't
need
really they don't really struggle, but once the belt is on, they sort of like nip at it once in a while. You sort of have to
No.
like slap them and tell them to stop.
Basically. Yeah, so whoever's driving the car and in the minivan, they can get in the front, and Serena will be sitting in the back, keeping an eye on the Schlachter.
Mm-hmm.
I'll drive the minivan.
All right. And
Then I'll probably have to get Isaac.
okay, so we'll allow group number 1 to drive directly to the airport. Who is picking up Isaac? Is it just Jack or anyone else joining him?
If Larry or Jim wanna join.
Larry's gonna fly, probably also straight to the airport with us.
Yep.
Yeah, I guess.
Indeed.
All right, in that case.
So it's probably you, Doctus, and Jim.
Well, the Ductus is going directly to the airport. He'd rather avoid Isaac at all costs.
I see.
Lack of respect and all that. So Jim, it's up to you. Would you like to go with Jack or the main group?
Jim will go with Jack.
Okay. So Jack and Jim, both of you, begin to make your way to Isaac's church. As you approach the building, you see that just outside, sitting on the floor with his back resting on one of the walls of the church, is a disheveled man who you barely recognize as Isaac, with stains all over his face that many would mistake for dirt, maybe just grime, but you recognize as several smudges on his face of very, very dry blood.
I just get out of the car and rush towards him. Cousin, is everything all right?
Let's just go. Isaac struggles to get on his feet, and
I'll help him.
yeah, he, accepts your help, and as he makes his way to the car, he just inquisitively looks at you and just gestures loosely towards the car. Here?
Yep.
Okay. And he opens the door, sits in, and shuts it.
And I'll just drive towards the airport.
Mm-hmm. As you do, once in a while, Isaac reaches into his coat and takes what looks like one of those drinking flasks. However, when he uncorks the lid, essentially a very strong smell of alcohol and blood fills the car, and he takes a big swig of it, and then just closes the bottle and pockets it again.
Isaac, what's going on? I don't like that.
Don't like what?
I don't like that you're trying to get drunk as fuck in a car.
I'm
We
not
don't
driving.
really do that.
Everyone's fine. Let's just get this over with.
You look like you've been hit by a fucking truck.
Emotionally, that's not far from the truth.
So, okay. If you feel like talking, we can talk.
Later. Right now, I just... let's just go.
I'll go.
Mm-hmm. Jim and Jack, both of you, as you make your way there, I need you to make a quick perception and occult roll.
Mm-hmm. Careful applies. Oh, and anything from my occult.
I don't think careful would apply here. I don't think it's that much of a risk, really.
And anything from my occult?
I'll have to check. Hold on, one moment.
Yeah.
I forgot to
Yeah,
open all of your
hold it.
sheets, so I'll just do that now. Okay, there we go. Alright, let's see if anything from your occult applies. Nope, not really.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh my god, what the fuck is this roll? It's one success. Barely. Oh no,
So,
it's two.
Essentially, both of you are able to tell that whatever Isaac has been going through, his path rating, out of character terms, meta terms, his path rating definitely took a hit. He looks a bit paler. He looks, well, essentially he looks devoid of willpower at this point. And on top of all of this, so Jim, you can tell from the streaks of blood across Isaac's face, this man has been fucking crying his eyes out and not really caring to clean himself up. So you'd wager he's either depressed or he's actively, making a show of the fact that he's a vampire.
Jim just smirks.
Miguel, we can't hear you.
Apologies. But yeah, both of you essentially take Isaac towards the airport. Getting there, you see the rest of your pack ready to enter the airport the same way you got last time, through the fence. The same gentleman shows up. He opens the fence. You all walk through, this time carrying two Schlachtas who attempt to nip at the guy immediately and get...
Four.
Hmm?
4 Schlachtas. 4 Schlachtas.
Well, yeah. 4 Schlachtas who immediately attempt to nip at the guy and get told
instantly
off.
get a fucking slap.
Yeah.
They're like, no! Behave!
They snarl immediately and
Mouth shut.
Yep.
Mouth shut. No sass talk back at me.
they seem very displeased but continue to move forward. And eventually you begin to reach the area where you entered the private plane last time. And this time there is a guy dressed in a very large green coat. The guy seems like tall and very skinny, so the coat looks very baggy. And he seems to be smoking, just warming his hands in his pockets, once in a while bringing a cigarette to his mouth. And as he sees you, he takes a very large drag of the cigarette to try and finish it as much as possible, tosses it on the floor and crushes it. And with a big exhale of smoke, he greets all of you with a smile. Hello, welcome.
Greetings.
Good to see you again, Jack. So right this way.
These 4 should go into the holding. Otherwise, they're gonna mess up the inside.
Back of the plane, then. I was told we'd have cargo, but
This is the cargo.
all right. Yeah. Yeah, sure. I'm sure it's fine. They don't get antsy with movement, do they?
No.
Okay.
They get antsy with humans.
If need be, I can procure some
No,
travel
they're
snacks.
fine. Travel snacks. No. They fed. They had some recycling to do from research anyway, so they're pretty fed. But thank you for the offer. Now off you go into the back, like the man told you. Quick.
3 of them obey you immediately. One of them seems to look at you and then look at the back. And as you begin to walk towards the entrance of the plane, it tries to follow you.
I go back, and I start like pushing it with toward, like a dog into the back.
It immediately nips at your hand.
Gets a fucking slap on the ass. None of that sass.
Should I lend a hand?
Johnny sort of signals to Jack. He goes to the side of the plane. Actually, he gets into the plane and eventually comes out with essentially a black Ziploc bag. He goes up to the cargo area, opens it, and does this. Towards the Schlachter, and then tosses it in the cargo hold. Immediately from the cargo hold, you hear a fucking frenzy in there. The Schlachter that's following Serena eventually sniffs the air, snaps its attention to the cargo hold, and sprints.
I should have made them less like dogs, so food obsessed they are. Fine.
You can train the dog.
Look, there is some things you don't go back after lobotomizing, okay?
Johnny seems to press a button on the inside, and the cargo hold begins to shut. And he straightens his green jacket, takes a cigarette, and begins lighting it, and says, "I had some experience with the master's other creations, so it's no the task of the
You're
day."
you're used to the usual troubles of such pets.
Well, yeah. What other choice do I have?
But thank you for the assistance. And Serena goes to enter the plane.
Mm-hmm. Does anyone else do anything before entering the plane?
Now I'll just grab my bag of books.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe knowing that Johnny will be here, I'll probably buy him a fucking sleeve of smokes.
Okay. As
Just
soon
enough
as
for him
you
to fly to Mexico.
make the offer, he gives you a big smile, puts out the cigarette on the floor, and says, "I'll go with you, and maybe buy 2 packs. I might get done with them before we reach land."
2 packs is fucking 20. It's a sleeve. You pedant.
Okay, I thought you meant 1 pack. Apologies, I
A
don't
Oh, no.
sleeve
smoke
is
IRL.
10. A sleeve is 10 packs of cigarettes.
Oh, cool.
It's like those
Yeah,
things
it's
they
Still
sell in
don't smoke.
airports.
big box, yeah. Okay, got it. Yeah, he goes with you with a big smile on his face. And of course, the brand he chooses is the shittiest brand.
Oh yeah. Duty
So
free and dull.
yes. So as all of you get in the plane, Johnny basically makes sure you're all comfortable. Any requests you make, Johnny tends to the best of his abilities. And he eventually goes up front to join the pilot. And as the door closes, the plane begins to make its way up into the air. The flight doesn't take very long, and before you know it, you feel the plane descend and eventually land as you reach Mexico. And that's where we'll take a very, very short break, and we'll be back very soon as the Gran Ballo will take place. See you very, very soon. We return. So, as the plane lands and all of you begin to one by one exit, as you see Mexico all around you, Abel, you exit alongside Isaac, and Isaac, after his conversation with you, seems a bit more not upbeat, but less suffering. And as he exits, all of you notice that now Abel is holding Isaac's flask. As you make your way out of the airport, you see that there is a car awaiting you. And in the distance, within the city, you can hear the festivities already going on.
Is there a van?
There is a van, yes.
Yeah, cool.
It's essentially a
I
car
get
for
schlock.
you and a van separately.
Yeah, I get a schlachtes in there.
Mm-hmm. Well, you open the van, you lead the Schlachtas in. Their mouths seem to be like covered in bloody Viscera, and they seem fairly happy with the trip. They make their way inside, and as you open the door of this fairly expensive car, but let's say it's a limo. As you open the door, uh, as all of you get inside, first of all, Larry, you notice as you get in the car seems to be prepared to handle your weight this time. And as you enter the car, all of you see Vicus with an unconscious gentleman next to them, greeting you with a champagne glass dripping with blood. Welcome! I've been waiting for a while. Took your sweet time.
Apologize, Your Eminence. The Schlachtas were a handful, but Jim wanted them for his fashion show.
Fashion show? Tell me about this,
Yes.
Jim.
Oh, yes, the fashion show, since I really need to show my skills to my peers, I guess.
Well, I'm
Well,
looking
I'm
forward to it. Especially if I'm not mistaken. Since you dressed here your Ductus, he looks very, very spiffy.
Why, thank you.
And for once, Larry, you don't look so much like yourself today. I enjoy your style. Also, Jim's doing, I assume?
How do I look, by the way?
Jim has very much taken into consideration the suggestion you made. Now, it's up to you if you want to be dressed in that, or if you want to be dressed in regular clothes that Jim has made for you.
Regular clothes for now.
Well, still, you're very well dressed, so Vicus's comment stands.
I nod.
Wonderful, wonderful. And of course, Jack, Abel, a pleasure to see you. Isaac, you look like shit. What happened? And Isaac seems to be a bit quiet, sort of taken aback by the blunt comment. Vicus seems to very eagerly await a response, but Isaac seems a bit frozen.
He's rather unused to such occasions.
Oh, that's fine. Just so all of you know, I will be taking you to meet someone important. Okay? It's about the thing we all are aware of, but can't really speak of. Good. And just so you know, during the event, there will be, at some point, what's called a bloodbath. Someone might be here who you're not supposed to get bound to. We have a solution for that. But if the event happens before the solution is implemented, and although this might sound a bit heretical to some of you, and Vika sort of eyes Serena for a second, pretend to drink. Don't actually drink. Okay?
Noted.
Good. Right. Vicus knocks at the blacked out window, and the car begins to move. And as it does, Vicus leans back and gestures towards, a set of champagne glasses all held at the center of the limo area. All of them filled about halfway with blood.
Serena takes some
Mm-hmm.
into a glass, and drinks because it's polite. Even though she's not really hungry.
So, Serena, are you just drinking for politeness, or are you actually taking in the flavors?
I'm going to like taste it and like enjoy it. But I'm not hungry. That's the point.
That's
Like
fine.
I don't.
That's fine. Um, so you simply sip on it. So you won't actually get the specific thing here.
But if I notice something interesting about it, I will like try to taste it.
Well, with sips you wouldn't. That's the point.
But with smell.
Again, you wouldn't.
I would take my sweet time drinking the blood.
Okay, and you're
Because
actually
if Marcus brings it, it's gonna be something good.
okay. Anyone else drinking?
Jim will indulge in it.
Okay. Anyone else? Larry, Abel?
Larry will enjoy the opportunity.
Abel?
It's gonna look like tiny fucking shot glass in his hand.
Yeah, in Larry's hand, it's like it's like Shaq holding a water bottle. It feels like it's smaller than it actually is. Abel, do you indulge? You seem to be very silent.
Is mic off?
Abel, are you with us? Okay.
Is anyone
We
here
might
with
be
us?
we might be having
We are.
oh, there we go.
No,
Can
wait.
you
Abel has
hear me?
died.
Oh, hold
Yes,
on,
we
hold
can.
on.
Yes.
One at a time. Abel, are you partaking?
So, for appearance's sake, I will also take a glass to take small sips out of.
Okay, so you're doing the same as Serena. All right. Well, everyone apart from Serena and Abel, you may roll a quick perception and alertness. Actually, perception awareness if you want to see if there's anything supernatural about it. Perception alertness if you just want to taste it and try to spot any nuances in the blood.
I'm going with alertness.
Jim, you're going with
Awareness.
awareness. Okay.
I'm just enjoying my drink.
Okay, so going for the taste.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so roll alertness.
Can I do it with the taste buds, but not with the dice?
Sure. I'm just considering that you're failing the roll on purpose and just going yum 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 yum.
Yes.
Okay. So, Jim, you drink, and while the effects on your body are similar to effects of alcohol, maybe drugs, there's something there. You sense that there is a supernatural aspect to it. Jack, as you drink, this tastes fucking amazing. Like,
Fuck yeah.
really, really fucking good. Like, you don't know what the fuck Vicus did with this, but it's really good. Like, you've never tasted anything like this. Almost addicting in a way.
Might as well prove the allegations of blood sorcery in their blood.
But yeah, all of you enjoy this, and Cecil seems to take a glass, and he actually seems to drink it. And after he tastes it for a moment, he furrows his brow and says, "What's in this?" Vicus, with a big smile on their face, leans back a bit more and sort of finishes the glass, and then sort of wiggling the glass in their hand, just says, "I believe you're quite familiar with this. The Mac made use of it."
Takes a bigger sip.
Yep.
Does she recognize?
You may
Because she drank.
Are you going from taste or awareness?
What did I use last? Awareness, I think.
I think it was
Or
alertness to recognize the
Okay.
taste.
Discerning applies.
Yes, in this
'Cause
case, because you know
I'm-
what you're looking
'cause-
for. What the hell? Yeah, you try, and you're not sure if it is or if it isn't. But it tastes really fucking good.
Certainly tastes just as good.
Yeah, it took me a while to devise what that keeper was trying to do, but I did manage. And this version is actually, well, I've narrowed the chances of addiction to near zero, so it's just very, very pleasant.
Huh.
Of course, it doesn't go too well for the vessel, and Vika sort of glances towards the unconscious man who, once in a while, his wrist twitches a little.
Miguel, your jaw cracks when you say she.
Yes. And Vikas basically just nudges the man's wrist and says, "I think he'll live. I'm not sure, though." Do any of you have a reaction to this?
Seriously? Doesn't. But then, well, Mac's girls seem to live for a while there. On that.
Well, yes, but
With far worse environment.
yes, but he was attempting to use the stuff to keep them going. Essentially, it's sort of like staying awake because you took a lot of cocaine but haven't eaten any food in 3 days. This is more an enhancer. Obviously knocks the poor fucker out, but hey, the taste kind of makes up for it, I'd say.
I mean, will definitely be quite popular on social events.
Cecil poignantly does not drink and very slowly puts the glass down, attempting to be as polite as possible. And as this conversation sort of comes to a close, the car eventually stops, and Vicus sort of has this this sort of excitement filling their expression, and goes, "I think we're here. First event I have arranged for is Jim's little show. I'm looking forward to it. It will be paired with well, it will be paired with a blood feast. Anyone who wants to partake in the show can. And as soon as midnight strikes, we shall have a grand ol' blood feast and a theater play. But to begin the festivities, I have decided that Jim's show would benefit more if it was done before the actual ball."
Hi, Jim. I'll come with you to get the Plachtas to follow your desires.
Yep, there's a lot of work to do now.
As you exit, you're basically met with a bunch of what is very, very clearly members of the cartel, but they're all very well dressed. So you'd wager these are not just grunts, they're probably some of the people in charge. And they, guide you to essentially the backstage of this small venue. Looks like a theater venue. And essentially you're guided through the areas where no public is present, though you can once in a while pass an alleyway and actually see the festivities going on in the main streets. Mostly Cain wearing these very extravagant clothes and costumes, and you even see a few that are quite outlandish. You'd almost mistake them for actual supernaturals. And just the sight of them really gives you the impression that you could very probably just walk in public and you probably would just be mistaken for just another person in a costume. And now I will give everyone the choice to either go into the fashion show or take advantage of the other festivities.
I have to go with Jim. I don't think the Schlacht are gonna really listen to him.
Well, they have drunk some of his blood, so
Well, I'm going to see like do the Schlachters follow him and make him enough.
Jim, make me a charisma and expression roll, please. There's a bit more resistance than usual, but they seem to do what Jim tells them. Once in a while, they may, snarl at him, but they don't really protest much.
Well, Serena kind of wants to go into the crowd a bit before Jim sets off his fashion show. She'll be back for it, but she wants to go and check it out.
Okay. Anyone else?
Well, I don't know if Jim requires me to be there at all times, but if not, then I will take a walk.
All right. Abel?
I do not wish to see this show. I don't think Isaac wants to see it either.
He does not seem to be very excited for it. That is true. Well, in that case, Jack.
I'll see the show.
All right. So, Jim and Jack immediately go inside. Jack probably helps Jim dress up the Schlachters.
Serena tells Jim that I'll be back before the show begins, but message me if the Schlachter are not listening to you.
Of course.
I will make them listen.
I don't know if they have enough in their head to be dominated, sorry.
One word. That's enough. 2 eyes, 1 word. That's how it works.
Well, as the group splits, Jack and Jim go into the back of the theater to begin preparing. As for Serena, Larry, and Abel, Serena, you will begin to walk through the streets, and while people seem to glance at you, usually the smiles on their faces don't fade. They seem to look at you as if you're wearing a costume. Some do sort of raise their eyebrows, but still with smiles on their face. So you'd wager they don't know that it's the real deal.
I will go with Serena.
Yeah. I'll get to that in a second because your case is very specific. Abel, you and Isaac seem to walk through. They seem to regard Isaac mostly like he's dressed like a zombie, really. But whenever they see you, they sort of frown, a bit confused. It's not like everyone's wearing a costume, but most people are, and they sort of look at you like you're a bit of a party pooper. Larry,
Why? I'm dressed as a vampire.
of course. Larry, I need you to roll me very
Do you
quickly.
like my costume?
I need you to roll me very quickly. Self-control.
Because everyone's staring.
Well, it's a bit more than that.
If this roll will fail, it will
I
be
will
such
laugh
a
my ass
beast.
off.
No, 3 successes.
Okay.
Suck it.
So as you walk through the streets, a lot of people are staring at you, and you sort of feel a bit awkward, a bit panicked at first, but you acclimate to it surprisingly quickly. And you sort of feel this almost fulfillment from it, as if you're no longer a freak. Hell, you're not even a vampire. You're just a normal person enjoying their night out. And with this comes a flashback. You find yourself looking through the essentially the streets during a similar festivity, though not as colorful, not as eccentric. And you remember walking through the streets with your cane. You look down, your hand is not deformed at all. You think at the time you were still human. And you remember as you walked through the street, eventually you turned the corner and you met with someone. Someone who was hideous, even to you, but someone who you revered above anyone else. And as that memory begins to become clearer and clearer, the flashback ends. And you find yourself just walking through the streets as one person sort of gives you a compliment very clearly in Spanish, which you don't recognize.
I will look to Serena.
What did he say?
We can't hear
We
you.
can't hear you.
I think he was complimenting you. You can say, gracias.
I will sort of look around my shoulder and very shyly yell back to him.
Gracias.
The man basically looks back and with a big laugh sort of does, motion, and laughing he continues to walk down the street. Everything seems very cheerful in the streets. And then you spot it. There is a group of guys who look disheveled as hell, covered in blood. At first you think they're costumes, but then you recognize one of them, who's laughing with the rest. It's Javier, and he seems to spot you, and then he waves and makes his way to you. Good to see you here.
Hello, Javier.
Hey, we've been having a lot of fun. You guys should
I
join
can see
us.
that.
Yeah,
We're
man.
going.
We crashed a car into a store. Cops are still looking for who the fuck did it, but like, who's gonna look twice at us, right?
I see you are indeed having fun. No, we've just arrived.
Yeah. You know who else made it here? He was asking for you earlier. Ruark. I don't know why he was asking for you, but he seemed pretty keen on finding you.
I see. Hmm. Interesting. I'll be sure to pass along my hellos.
Yeah. Well, you be sure to do that. I think we're gonna rob a store or something.
You do that. I do have to be at the Schlachter fashion show soon.
Sorry?
I said what I said. A Schlachter fashion show. It's actually a clanmate of yours, a Toreador, new one in my pack, doing one.
Change of plan, boys. Where is this?
And I give the
Yeah,
not
yeah.
too far. The venue over there.
Yeah, immediately they begin to make their way, through the streets. Javier even very visibly harasses a woman on the way there. And you sort of get this, fucking shovelhead type of feeling in your gut as he makes his way down the street.
Yeah, just like Serena just being like, She shakes
Abel.
her head.
So I need this is a bit secret, so I need everyone to deafen, and I will thumbs up when you're supposed to undeafen. Okay? Just making sure everyone's doing that. Mark, please deafen.
Sorry.
All good. There we go. So, Abel, as you see Javier and you hear this and see this display, your thoughts sort of run back, and you remember Velvet mentioning something about this. Something that sort of feels familiar. And you begin to suspect that there is a connection between them, but you're not sure what. Okay?
Okay.
Okay.
How is Isaac faring, seeing all this?
Isaac seems to be faring quite well. All things, uh, during the circumstances. He does seem to have the reaction you'd expect when looking at Javier. But I suppose everyone in the Sabbat has that reaction, sort of, one way or another.
Serena just like turns around looking to Abel. Then there goes my shiny little mood. Looking at the shovel heads. Either way, I think I'm gonna go back, just in case that fucking feral Toreador decides to pick problems with Jim. He will, because that idiot understands only violence. So somebody will need to fucking slap him.
Enjoy the show.
Larry, you coming with me?
Yes.
We'll enjoy a bit more of the outside after.
All right. And as you begin to make your way back to the theater, we cut to Jim and Jack as they finish preparing the Schlachter. Jack has had to discipline them quite thoroughly once in a while, but they seem to eventually, submit.
I would be disappointed in myself if they didn't.
Jim, how are the Schlachter dressed?
Schlachter number 1 is basically the bat. It has bat wings. It has like this nose, not mask, but basically to keep the mouth shut. Forgot the term.
Muzzle.
Muzzle, yes.
Yeah, muzzle.
The Schlachter number 2 is the spider. Just imagine that gif of the dog.
Okay.
And Jim's also kind of nervously waiting for Larry, as he's like has the main role.
What about Slaughter number 3 and 4?
Schlachter number 3 and 4. Well, they have basically they go first. Bats appear, then spiders appear, and then the Orlok appears.
So 2 bats, 2 spiders.
Okay. And as you nervously pace around the room, eventually the door to the backstage opens and Larry, sort of hunched over, makes his way inside, followed by Serena.
Did the Slaughter behave?
Sorta.
Serena looks at the Slaughter. They look kind of cute. I like it.
Serena, you notice that the Schlachter are behaving very well compared to their usual behavior.
They're very well behaving. They're behaving. What gives?
Dominate.
That's not training. That's cheating.
That is indeed fucking training.
It's cheating.
You notice that
Look,
one of them is
you can just-
vacantly looking into the distance, just drooling through the muzzle.
That's cheating.
You can wipe their brain. I can kind of program their brain.
Again, cheating. Training is training. You know, like with dogs.
I don't have a fucking month for that. I didn't know we got that shit coming like this evening. So I do what I do best.
Since you guys got it covered, I'm gonna go mingle with. Also, we saw Javier, and he said, "You know who was looking for us here?" So I'm gonna go and find Cecil and let him know.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say you know who, I mean it exactly in the Voldemort way.
It's at this point that you say this to yourself that you realize Cecil's nowhere to be fucking found. Neither is Vicus.
I'm gonna go
I
mingle.
suggest you use your wonderful connection to Cecil and Vicus and let them know.
Well, besides calling, besides misgendering Vicus, I really don't know when they're listening in, okay?
As you say that, you feel sort of this crack on your spine.
Okay. Well, here you go. You know who is in town, and apparently looking for a little pack.
Nothing
heard
else
it.
happens.
That's expected, quite frankly.
Just a second. I
Mhm.
need to get the charger.
Of course. But as you finish this conversation with people who are not quite there, Jim, you realize that the time is approaching to begin the show.
Jim will frantically look for Larry.
Larry is in the room with you.
Oh, you're here. Good. Are you dressed up?
Yep.
Yep, I'm all ready.
Okay, good. So the plan is first goes the Schlachtas, and after they're all gone, you take the main scene. Just walk like you usually do, turn around and go back. If you want, you can stop for a moment and do a pose. You can think of any pose you want.
I'll show Larry like whatever male fashion videos.
I'm
Maybe
pretty
that
sure
one
you
was Gary
will look
Oldman and
natural
some.
in any case.
Larry, also probably use your wings since you have them. You know, like do a dramatic swoosh.
Right, that's a great touch.
I mean, clearly none of you have ever thought of the fact of having extra limbs, because you didn't even mention his wings. But no worries. I'm here to aid you.
My extra limbs kind of doesn't work like that.
Serena just looks at you just like, ew, don't do that again.
I'm talking about shadows.
He was
You
talking about
fucking
the
pervert.
shadows, but it came out wrong.
Yes. It was intended.
Yes.
So,
Wykus has exactly extra limb. Serena thought Jack was talking about.
you don't know how many. Anyway, as you
You don't ask questions you don't want to know the answers to.
exactly.
Yep.
So, Twitch friendly. Okay.
Existential crisis.
So, as the music sort of dies down within the venue, you hear an announcer sort of, say, and now the show will begin. First, a show of skill from the Clan of the Rose. And sort of this fashion show type of music mixed with Rob Zombie-ish type of metal, like very industrial. It's a fucking ear sore of a song. It begins, and Jim, it's showtime. How do you want to have your your work shown?
So first Jim appears. He will he will like bow to everyone, like represent himself. Then he will leave the scene, and first Schlachtas will appear. First two Schlachtas, and then second pair of Schlachtas will appear. Then move back, and then Larry should appear, and he will take a bit more time to pose or like. He will walk a bit slowly so everyone could take a look and enjoy.
Okay. So, Jim, as you walk out to sort of, present yourself to the public, you notice that front row sits, there are a few chairs. In the front row, two of the chairs are occupied, one by Ruark and one by someone you recognize. Kian.
I give a side eye and instantly look away.
As you sort of give this side eye, Kian looks serious as a fucking rock. Meanwhile, Ruark, with a smile, just goes, and as you finish, presenting this show, you sort of give this flourish with your hand and make your way to the back and let the two first Schlachter go through. And as they make their way out, you hear this, cheering and clapping, very uncharacteristic of a fashion show. Clearly, there aren't only true Sabbat in the audience, let's say that. And as the first pair of Schlachter make their way back, you send out the second pair of Schlachter. You sort of have a look at how they're walking. They are quite literally just following very, very straight rules of walk to the end, walk back. One of them almost trips and falls off the walkway and manages to like climb back up. It gets a laugh out of the audience, and the Schlachter make it back, unaware of how much they fucked up. And then it's Larry's turn. Larry, proceed.
I exhale. Larry probably doesn't have so many skills of, social awareness and awkwardness that comes with this. So he is extremely chill with it. He goes out on the stage, walks up front, up to the end, hits a couple of very dramatic fucking poses,
Okay.
Well, the
as...
ones that he could find from Jack's.
Do you use your
phone.
wings?
Of course, I fucking spread them and let my beauty shine.
Okay.
Wait,
Charisma.
do you flap them? Do you flap them
Hold
so
on.
that Ruark's hair flies back?
Hold on.
His wig?
Larry,
Yes.
charisma and performance, please.
I will. I feel sorry for Jim, so I use my willpower for this role. And how much do I have on performance? Performance 0, charisma 2. Guys,
Okay.
this is something. Can I make it an auto success somehow?
Yeah.
Yeah, willpower.
If you put willpower, the minimum result you can get is 1 success.
Oh, okay.
Always.
Yeah. Great.
Okay.
1 success it is.
Yeah, 2 successes.
Oh.
Because it's whatever you get plus 1 to a minimum of 1. So, as you strike a couple of poses, at one point, one of your wings sort of gets a bit too high, clips one of the structures on the ceiling, and as soon as it hits, a huge cheer from the audience erupts, and especially from the corner where Javier and his crowd is, they fucking get up and start like hollering and cheering. And eventually you make your way back and reach the backstage.
I come up to Jim.
Larry, my boy, you did well. I am so proud of you. Did you hear that? Did you hear the audience? I did hear them. So amazing.
I guess sending Javier here was a good thing. He certainly lit up the crowd.
Well, it's a fucking fuck that it wasn't just setting them on fire.
Never know with them.
Sadly,
Exactly.
we have a party pooper here on the city, the one sitting.
Yeah. Pretend not to notice, right?
Well,
Remember what
yes,
we
of course.
thought. Mm-hmm.
Remember the 5th of November.
And eventually, as you're having this conversation, the music sort of dies down, and there's applause, and eventually into the room walks Vicus, Cecil, followed by Abel and Isaac. Cecil says, "Right, we should make our way to the crowd. Meanwhile, well, it will be announced the start of the Gran Ball. And we are aware of who's in the crowd. So, shall we?
Do the slachters sit here?
Doesn't matter. So long as they don't go through the main street, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. I mean, Jack, you can get them to sit here since you already did. So I don't want to go chasing them afterwards, or I don't know, come to find some shovelheads fighting with my schlachters for fun.
Okay. I'm gonna try to condition them that they are not to leave the room until Mama comes back, pick them up.
You can make the roll, and meanwhile,
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming everyone makes their way to the area for the audience. Mm-hmm.
Making my way with Cecil.
Yeah. As you take seats,
Manipulation leadership against their willpower.
which is
Lack of
very,
willpower.
very low. They
If persuasive works,
you
I guess it would.
sure it does, and the difficulty is like 1 or 2, so you're probably
Yeah,
going
2
there
because
you
I
go.
have to. Motherfucker.
Yeah. So they are
They
very,
will
very
be-
receptive. Let's just say that. And yeah, as you make your way out, the Schlachtas seem to behave. You take your seats among the audience. And around you, it very, very clearly looks like it's entirely comprised of Cainites. Then, on stage, appears Vicus, who has not joined you in the audience, and who begins the presentation of the next event. Ladies and gentlemen, we now commemorate the Gran Ball, and as is tradition, we shall start with a performance. Snacks will be available, making their way through the audience. Don't hurt them too much. They're only supposed to die at the end of the event. Don't get greedy. And to start with, we depict a scene of our creation. And Vicus sort of jumps from the stage down and takes a seat next to Ruark and begins sort of, talking with him. And you see a few shovelheads making their way onto the stage. And they begin... One of them begins, using a tool to sort of stab at the ground, pretend stab at the ground. And sort of reaches below and seems to produce some very fake-looking plants. And the other one takes this model, like this pretend sheep, and seems to be pretending to shepherd them. And eventually, someone makes their way in, sort of dressed in these robes, and says, "To both of you, I give a mission. Bring me offerings that I can make use of." And the man with the sheep hands the sheep to the man in the ropes, and he seems to gracefully accept and say, "I favor you, Abel. Make your way out of here with my gratuitously well thought out blessing that will no doubt backfire." And the crowd gives a big laugh. And then the man with the plants and the sort of wooden spear makes his way to the person in the ropes and hands the plants. And the person with the robe sort of slaps them away and says, "Cain, you are pathetic, and I do not care for you," and theatrically makes his way out. And the man with the stake sort of looks around and says, "Oh, woe is me. Oh, how I wish to spill the blood of Abel, that bastard. And as he looks to the side, a man dressed like the person who played Abel before, but this time it's very clearly a scared person, a scared human. He gets pushed onto the stage and starts begging to the people in the audience, like, please help me, these people want to kill me. And the man playing Cain says, no protesting, Abel. You know what your fate must be. Now come here, and begins chasing him with the sharp stick around the stage. Everyone in the audience laughing their ass off.
Probably not everyone.
Well, not everyone.
Serena certainly is.
Isaac looks fucking horrified and slowly turns to Abel. Abel, what's your reaction?
This is of poor taste, surely.
And as this man gets chased around the stage, eventually, the guy with the sharp stick seems to almost, like, supernaturally fast, almost teleport next to the human and stabs him through the heart with the stick, and almost lifts him up while doing this, and there's a huge cheering from the crowd. And as the man sort of dies, pierced through this stick, the man playing Abel licks the blood off the stick and just lets the man fall, and looks to the crowd and says, I'm now blessed, and all of you, my children, will be blessed, and all your children will be blessed. Let us have fun tonight. And everyone in the crowd just erupts into cheers as the man turns around and, along with the other two performers, rush onto the stage and begin draining the man on the ground.
I hope to see more of that sassy Yahweh, I guess. They really should have put some more sassy Yahweh. It was actually quite funny.
Yeah, it would have been fun if it was actually like that.
Like, they really should have played it more with the sassy gay Yahweh.
They're too
Like,
fast, so I guess they're Bruja or Toreador, so not enough sass.
No, they don't, do they? Yeah, they really should have played
On
it
the
more
other
on the
hand-
funny parts, because this is just like something you really expect from shovelheads. But sassy Yahweh and sassy Cain being extra arrogant and sassy back at him, I think that would have been like really cherry on the cake.
Yeah, but on the other hand, La Sombra wouldn't. No sane La Sombra would allow it. But we are all insane, so fuck it.
Next to you, Isaac just whispers, if you ask me, the whole performance could have been avoided.
I know. But
I mean, do you really want to be reduced to that? Is that what you want for your life?
No. That's why I have to learn from the best to avoid the worst.
Oh. Kind of you to regard my teachings that highly. And you can almost hear Cecil rolling his eyes.
Well, one teacher is good, but who said more is worse?
Isaac,
Serena leans into
Isaac furrows his brows and looks to you. And as he's about to say something, you notice that in the midst of the revelry, Vicus seems to stand up and start walking towards a side room, essentially an exit to the theater that's more towards the front. And Vicus looks towards your group and just says, just does this.
We'll
Summoned.
continue later.
I think all of us.
Yes.
I'm gonna go get the Schlachters.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure if I shouldn't get the Schlachters, I'll be stopped on my way there. That's basically Serena's reasoning.
Mm-hmm.
So if she can go get the Schlachters and she's not getting any cracks in her like spine or whatever.
If in-laws want Schlachter, they will. If in-laws don't want Schlachter, they will tell.
Yeah, I will know.
You don't feel any impediment.
Yeah. Okay. So she goes like, right, boys and girls, after me,
Mm-hmm.
and then walks out the back.
Larry, Abel, and Jim. Do you also join the group?
Jim joins.
Yep.
Abel?
I'm going wherever Isaac is going.
Isaac seems to join, though a bit reluctantly. He was informed that he is here on Vicus's request, so he seems to join, but sort of with the expression of, I hope this is quick so I can get out of here. And all of you make your way to this side room, and eventually enter it, and you see 3 people standing inside. You see Vicus sort of leaning on one of the storage boxes here, and you see 2 other men. One of them is this sort of portly but muscular man, sort of on the shorter side. Definitely with some more Eastern heritage, though it's hard to spot, like, where exactly he's from. And the other man is tall, wearing a pair of sunglasses, from which you can see shining red lights that are his eyes. He has long hair and wears a sort of leather brown coat. This one, whichever one, whichever of you have an inkling of who this might be in character, you guys can roll int and let's say academics to see if you recognize who this is.
Does book smarts or history apply?
Of course it does. Both of those.
Barely. Still no fucking idea.
I have 1 success.
Okay. And I think
Very
Abel
dumb internet.
would as well, but I'm not entirely sure. It's up to you, Abel.
What exactly do you need me to roll?
Int and academics. I think you're old enough and studious enough that you might actually know who this is.
His books.
Okay, so Serena and Abel, both of you sort of, it clicks in your mind that this very well might be Beckett. Jack, you suspect it might be Beckett, but you're not quite sure. You're sort of suffering from that effect of seeing a famous person in public, where you're like, nah, it couldn't be him. And as all of you,
Sabbat celebration.
Mm-hmm. And all of you, as you enter the room, Vicus gets up and goes to close the door. And after closing, locks it, takes something from their pocket, seems to be a small glass ball, puts it on the floor, and crushes it with her foot. Right, we have about 15 to 20 minutes where that bastard out there cannot hear us. Or anyone else, for that matter. So introductions are in order. Everyone in this room knows what we're fighting against. To some extent. This, Vicus gestures towards the man with long hair and sunglasses, is Beckett. I'm sure all of you are familiar with his work. And this, they gesture towards the short Eastern-looking man, is Jalan. Everyone here knows what we're fighting against, and we're here to coordinate, to devise a plan, and to give everyone a safeguard, because I am well aware that since we're all here, and to my knowledge, we're all that remains of the people who know about them, to any extent, Ruark is going to try and fuck us over during the bloodbath by bonding us to him.
He's a bishop right now.
He is.
Wouldn't Voldery prevent that?
Yes,
The
it should prevent.
the shorter man, Jalan, takes a step forward and says, "In most cases, it would. But some people know how to get around ancient rituals, especially people who are even older than I am. So, let's be smart about this, okay?" Does anyone have any questions before I do this? Any at all?
Did Jack happen to see Liliana or Valen in the crowd?
You'd be aware that they will show up. Maybe they weren't in the crowd, or maybe you didn't see them in the crowd.
What about?
But
what
you
about
are
the
aware that
re-
they will be here or are already here.
What about the rest of those who will be drinking from it?
Beckett sighs and says, "Well, I assume that if they knew what they were fighting, they'd be more than willing to partake in this. But as they have no idea, we're in the minority. And I'm very, very sure that your sect would be very eager to follow the words of the Doomsayer with a reputation rather than us. I mean, no offense to these two, but out of your sect, the reputations are," he points at Vicus, "Dick Thrower," and he points at Jalan, "Wolf that eats people from the bottom up." Meanwhile, the guy outside, his reputation is one of the most respected members of the sect in the modern age. Who's done anything useful in the modern age? Jalan looks at
Hasn't,
Beckett,
though, really.
frowning
He
furiously.
hasn't. But according to Diesel, if you look at the statistics, he hasn't really done, or what? Statistics are a lost
You
art?
can't really bring the fucking PowerPoint presentation to Bloodbath. That's the fucking
Maybe
problem.
someone should.
Maybe someone should, but you're a fucking pact priest and I'm a fucking pact mate. We're gonna do shit about it. They're not gonna listen to us.
Jalan
I can
sort of
create an
shakes.
illusion of a pie chart if you need.
Jalan shakes his head and then says, "Look, we're wasting time here. Okay?
Yes.
We don't have a lot of time. Let's just do this. Anyone need to ask any questions, any more questions before I do this? Because you might not be
Would we
able
be able-
after."
Would we be able to break this bond on others eventually?
Eventually, but I gotta figure something out first.
Fuck.
Okay.
Anything else?
No, like, guess we'll figure that out later.
Okay. Fuck's sake.
I mean, the solution would be to kill him.
He turns around
Good
and
fucking luck.
reaches for sort of a bag that's resting on top of one of the storage boxes. He opens it and takes a chalice, very clearly a chalice that is usually used for Valkyries. But this one looks ancient. Very well kept, but ancient. There are carvings on it that have been weathered, even though they're clean. And they're barely perceptible at this point. He places it on the floor, takes a knife, again in the same state, and he kneels before it and begins chanting to himself, holding the knife close to his chest. And as he chants, I need anyone with any occult rating to roll into cult, please.
Rituals apply.
Yes.
Kindred lore?
Oh yeah.
Does
Kindred lore
apply?
does apply as well. And
Oh, for fuck's
Serena, you get
Yeah.
a bit of an advantage on the difficulty. For you, the difficulty is 7. For everyone else, it's 8.
sake. Oh, yes.
What was it?
-2.
Occult was what?
Intellect.
Into cult.
Book smarts? No? Does
I
book smarts apply?
suppose. Yeah, I suppose.
-2. Fuck me, I guess.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 5 successes.
-1 success.
Apologies.
5 successes.
Okay, so here's what all of you who rolled managed to figure out. 1 sec. Okay, so Jack, Larry, and Jim. To you, it sounds like absolute fucking gibberish. Jack specifically, it sounds like gibberish, and you'd wager it's probably necromantic in nature, you'd say. Abel and Serena. Both of you recognize the chanting he's doing to some extent. You may not immediately know what it means, but you're aware that it's sort of a religious chant, sort of a prayer. You'd wager to some Nordic religion. Serena, since you got the most successes here, you recognize parts of the chant that match that book you've been studying. And as he finishes the chant, he takes a deep breath, places the dagger pointing to his heart, and begins pushing it in through his skin. And as he does so, he jolts it out of his chest, and there's sort of this fountain of blood that begins pouring out. And as he does so, both Vicus and Beckett slit open their wrists, and they look to you. Vicus says, "Join up." And they begin feeding some of the blood to Jalan.
Iris does the same?
Yep.
Yeah, I'll do the same with whatever sharp stuff I can find.
Mm-hmm.
Iris just uses her finger to open her wrist.
Mm-hmm. Cecil seems to join. Anyone else?
Yeah, Jim joins.
Mm-hmm.
Larry
Yep.
too.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's a team effort, so Abel joins.
And so does Isaac after Abel joins. And after all of you feed Jalon some blood, his heart begins to stop pumping blood, and the wound begins to close, and the chalice is filled to the brim. Jalon seems to hold his hand to his chest and picks up the chalice. He takes a big sip and then passes it on. Vicus drinks and passes it on to Beckett, giving him a wink. Beckett rolls his eyes and drinks, and he passes it on to Cecil. Cecil drinks, passes it on to Serena.
Who drinks as well? Does it taste different? Like our usual Wolverine?
It tastes like Vitae, though as you drink, you may roll perception awareness, and in the meantime, pass to the next person.
Yes, and I pass it on to Abel.
Abel will take a strong sip from the chalice and pass it on to Isaac.
Isaac drinks, sort of shaking his head, and passes it on to Jack.
Jack will also drink and pass it to Larry.
Larry drinks, passes it to Jim.
And Jim also drinks.
3
And-
successes.
As Jim finishes, all of you feel this sort of calming effect after you finish. Serena, your role, since you're trying to figure out what the fuck this just did, you begin to feel sort of a severing effect on the vinculum. And for the rest of the session, you guys, while you still feel the way you do with the vinculum rating, for one action, you may choose to completely ignore vinculum ratings. And you won't be able to obtain any new vinculum ratings for the rest of the session. As all of you finish, Beckett then says, "Well, this was lovely. I'm glad I could partake. However, I'm not officially part of your sect, so I must be going before anyone else notices I'm here."
Well, technically, you could be considered.
No. No, I
Okay.
couldn't.
Still, you're welcome.
I should have brought my book of yours first for an autograph.
Which one?
On the lupines.
Oh, that's outdated.
Uh,
I haven't
I got
written a
it off
book
of a
about
cha-
lupines in a while.
I got it off of a changeling.
Then it's really outdated. Haven't had dealings with them in... Well,
I think
I
that
don't
one was
remember
just a
having any
librarian.
dealings with them in about 100
I
years.
think that one was just a librarian.
Just exchange numbers and then meet again in LA.
I'll mail you my personal copy of the Book of Nod. And as he says this, Jalan and Vicus both look at him, and he says, "Maybe not."
Because someone's gotta get a new one if you're gonna be the first one to read it.
It's been around for a while. What's wrong with you? There's been like a whole big disaster I remember because somebody leaked it to everybody.
Well, maybe that's why they are not so eager. Regardless, I must go. So, it was a pleasure meeting you all, and make sure the world doesn't end. Yes?
You too.
That's business of the sect.
I slip my business cards into Beck's pocket.
You do this. He just looks at his pocket, then at you, removes the business card, and proceeds to slide it into your pocket. And with that, he turns around, looks to the window, and seems to sort of stretch his back. Seems to mentally prepare himself for something. And before he can transform, Vicus basically walks to the center of the room and says, "So, since we're going to have to leave this room in about a minute, you got some time to ask some questions. Beckett, you may go." And as Vicus says this, sort of gives him a slap on the ass. And Beckett looks back with a shocked look and says, "Don't do that again." And turns into a bat and flies out. And Jilan, throughout the entire process, is looking with sort of a death stare at Vicus. Don't be
No.
childish. Right. Questions.
Well, there goes our
1
minute.
minute. 1 minute. Questions.
I have to save my sire, perhaps her sire.
Do they know?
How?
No.
Well, they're probably not going to believe you. And if they've been in the sect for more than a year, they are definitely not going to believe you.
Liliana would probably. Well, and no.
Well, then make sure you're not hurt telling Liliana. Okay? Good. Any other questions? Time's running out.
Nothing to. Too little time to ask questions, really.
Oh, let's save the fucking world then.
Try to, at
Let's
least.
just. Or die trying.
Right. Off you go. We'll leave later.
Mm-hmm.
And as you begin approaching the door, you notice that the floor this entire time has had sort of a very faint black fog. And as you open the door, the fog immediately dissipates. You all leave. And you notice, as you leave, as the festivities are going on, Ruark seems to be enjoying the show. Kian, however, not subtly at all, is staring right at the door and watching you all leave.
Serena just looks at him, gives him the toothiest fucking smile with fangs, and waves at him. And goes out, followed by her freaking Schlachtus.
Yeah, and as you do so, Jim, at some point, one of the shovel heads that seems to be sort of covered head to toe in blood has been having a lot of fun, seemingly. He makes his way to you and says, "Hey, man, look, the boss wants to have a word with you. I gotta pull you away. Sorry to the rest of you, but apparently Javi really loved his work. So we gotta have a chat with him, okay?"
Serena leans over to Jim. Javi's a toreador on a peripheral heart. Also, he insults you. Slap him back, insult him back. Then let him walk over, otherwise he won't respect you. And then off you go!
And Jim sort of gets pulled away and fades into the crowd. You sort of see for a second Javi sort of greet him with a hug, and off he disappears.
If I do
I'd
manage
actually.
to,
Sorry.
if I do manage to also catch the eyes of Sion, I will create a short illusion while we are looking into each other's eyes. I will flash sunlight out of my eyes for a short moment.
Oof.
Okay. Let me make a roll.
And then wink.
Make this motherfucker make ass of himself.
For the moment when our eyes meet.
So, as you perform this trick, Kian's reaction, he sort of lunges back with surprise and then looks pissed off at you. And as he does this, Ruark, without really, changing his attitude, very calmly nudges Kian's shoulder, and Kian immediately snaps his head away from you. And you seem
Just
to
a short
be
reminder.
And you seem to be free to enjoy the festivities as you wish.
Serena's gonna go. Serena's going to go and see if she can, I don't know, have a snack. Mingle with Cecil. She doesn't want to be too far because Rourke is here, you know.
You notice that there are a few humans wandering around. They're wandering aimlessly with sort of a vacant stare forward. And one of them passes by you. And as you think about, like, I could have a snack, the man almost instinctively, like, as he passes by you, tilts his head away from you, exposing his neck. And he does that as he passes anyone. Sort of with this vacant stare forward, just wandering around.
Take a bite out of the one.
You may feed as much as you want, though, again, you're supposed to take very little to make him last.
I'm not that hungry.
How much are you
So I
taking?
take like 1 blood point.
Okay. Yeah.
How many blood points did we feed Beckett or whoever was
everyone who drank properly takes 1 blood point. Everyone who sipped, which I believe was Serena and Abel, you take no blood points from that.
Feeding Jalan blood. We fed Jalan blood.
You fed Jalan blood, but then you drank from the cup, so that evens out.
Okay.
And it's not like the intent isn't there. So blood points are plentiful there. Don't you worry. Larry, what are you doing in the festivities?
Just chilling, walking around, admiring the cases that I get from the public.
You do notice that a few of the Sabbat members, especially the ones that give you the most shovel head vibes, they look at you with sort of suspicion, eyeing you up and down, the whole gargoyle deal. The more seasoned members in the room seem to watch you with a sort of a very solid nod and a smile, thinking, finally we turned one of them. That's sort of the vibe you get. What about you, Jack?
I'm about to find my sire.
Okay. Roll me a quick, let's say, wits and alertness, please.
Wits, alertness, and I'm gonna do willpower on that one too. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Okay. I mean, you succeed where you gotta succeed, right? Uh, must wish you didn't spend the willpower.
I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, so it takes you a bit, but eventually you do spot Liliana sitting next to.
Miguel,
Hmm?
could you turn off camera for me for now?
Yeah, of course.
Thank you.
You eventually spot Liliana sitting next to Wayland. And Wayland seems to be very happily chatting her ear off. Liliana, in the meantime, seems worried as hell.
I'll slowly approach Master Wayland, Miss Liliana.
Jack! Been a while. Did you solve that moral
Been-
dilemma? Have you decided to finally come ask for some
In a way.
tutelage?
In a way,
Right, when do we start?
I've already started.
You've already started.
Yes.
With who?
Priscus of Washington.
Okay. Have it your way. Wayland seems to divert his attention from you. Liliana looks worried at you and says, I'm happy for you.
I do a slight nod. Like, need to talk.
She turns to Wayland and, with her head sort of perched down, asks, May I be excused? Wayland takes a solid few seconds before he even considers answering and then just waves her off. And almost immediately, Liliana stands up and follows you.
I'll find as secluded space as I can.
Yeah, you go to the corner of the room. You use the fact that Javi is partying with Jim and making a fuck ton of noise, and you sort of go near their group, but away enough that they won't overhear.
I'll make. I'll use first dot of obtenebration to cover my eyes and so basically my face, like a big mask. Should be, if I remember correctly. Just butt point. You should probably do the same.
Liliana furrows her brow and then looks to the room, then back to you, and her face slowly gets covered in shadows. Are you seriously telling me that you're under Vike tutelage?
Oh, better than Valen.
Did you not hear what I told you? You're gonna lose
We
yourself.
Are scholars. We are scholars.
You're not
Plain
going to be a
flippant
scholar,
monsters.
you're going to be a monster.
No, I'm not.
Jack, there's barely any of you left. Do you want to lose the rest?
Liliana, I know what I'm doing.
Do you?
I have to do this. Yes, I do. Problem is, some rather not friendly forces are on this evening here. So whatever you do, don't drink from bloodbaths. Pretend. Make excuses. Don't drink.
Are you going to... Are you not going to follow the ritual?
I will, but I will also make pretend. Because whatever you do,
What if
if
Wayland
you drink
finds
from
out?
that,
I'm sorry, but there are things I don't want to suffer tonight. I've already suffered enough from that man. What if he finds out?
if we drink, we'll suffer worse. Remember Blood Bond?
Yeah?
You want that again?
No, but is Wayland trying to fuck anyone over?
No, not him.
Then who? If someone's attacking the sect, they should be
Cannot tell
aware.
you. I cannot tell you right now.
Jack, if someone's attacking the Sabbat, people should be aware. You can't just tell me to save myself.
Yes, I should come over and say, one of the bishops are gonna fuck us over.
A bishop.
One of. I wouldn't tell you a name because you are not as protected as I am.
Don't you have a Priscus on your side, then? What's a
Yes.
bishop to a Priscus?
Let's see. What was the last win of our Priscus? Apart from Convention of Thorns?
Liliana stops for a second and says, they did take Washington.
If I remember correctly, Theo Bell had a hand in that as well.
Well, yes, but it's still a decent... What do you mean? Who else would have... And after a moment, Liliana's eyes seem to dart from one side to the other. And then she raises her eyebrows. Oh.
The one who never wins but never loses. And if I had to, I would erase this memory away from your head.
I think that might be a good idea.
Very well. So now we either have to make your sire don't drink blood, or
Let
we'd
him.
have to save him.
No, let him.
eventually.
Let him. Look, Waylon is self-centered, egotistical, and he does not care about us. If he can win something by siding with him, both of us are going to suffer for it. It'll be for the good of the clan. To him, we're both failures. Okay?
That's right.
Okay. Right. Take
So-
the memory away from me, but keep the command. I'll let you.
Yes.
And
Yes.
she seems to very intently look into your eyes.
Can someone? Yes. Can someone remind me what role on third dot of dominate is? Because I didn't write it.
It's okay.
My whole setup is a fucking whack.
Do you not have it written in the sheet?
No, I forgot it.
I see.
I have it written in power list, but not in powers. In
Okay.
disciplines list.
Apologies for what's going to happen to the camera,
Yeah,
but
Really sorry.
I'm going to shine the light of Yahweh on my face for a second. Okay, let's see. Third dot of dominate. Why is the book on Mythosyria? I don't need Mythosyria right now. Let's see. Disciplines. Dominate dot 3. You have to roll wits plus subterfuge.
Mm-hmm. Spend willpower on the 2. And difficulty is probably willpower.
It is willpower, but she's allowing you to, so the difficulty is quite lower. But let's say that you'll succeed in changing the memory regardless, like erasing it. It's just the extent to which you get to do that. We're calculating
successes.
that. Yes, 3 successes. So you get to rewrite the memory somewhat extensively.
I'll just remove the realization that it's working in.
Mm-hmm. And keep the rest? Like the realization that it's serious enough that she wants to forget?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, as a player, I might not be in the best mindset, but I would make sure that she's safe.
Mm-hmm.
But she wouldn't endanger me or herself if it comes up.
Okay. So you do this, and Liliana's eyes blink a few times, and you see this sort of glassy stare after a moment that tells you the power has done what it's supposed to do. At least to the extent you think.
I lean closer, find me at my haven, and we will discuss my further path.
Okay. Okay. She looks a bit confused, but then turns, and the mask of shadows sort of drops, and she makes her way to Wayland again.
I removed my mask and would probably find Isaac or Abel.
Mm-hmm. It's a good thing you mentioned it, because we'll go back in time a little bit. Abel, what are you doing as you exit the room?
I presume this is now the area where no one is allowed to leave, right?
Well, you're allowed to leave if you want to, even doing a bit of
No
a...
kind.
Yeah,
No
no
kind
kind
is
are
allowed
allowed
to
to leave.
leave.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess I would find a sort of a vantage point to keep an eye on the comings and goings of Rourke and his lackeys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as you watch them, Isaac leans on the wall next to you, and just sort of on watch duty, you begin to speak, and eventually Isaac says, "You know, with time, I'm starting to think our philosophy might be flawed. At least my philosophy might be flawed."
Well, there's always room to evolve.
I suppose, but I'm starting to think if it was wise at all to share this with you and Jack. What if I just doomed both of you?
It was not your choice alone, Isaac.
It
We
wasn't.
had our say in this.
You did, but to what extent have I actually helped anyone by doing that? What if all of you get... What if I have to make the hard choice? I didn't
me.
consider that I would have to. But what if I do?
I've learned as much in my life and unlife to know that sometimes there are no good choices. It is how we justify the lesser evils sometimes that helps us make the right choices.
I suppose. It doesn't make it better, though, does it?
Yeah. You've done good, Isaac. And nothing good will come out of you not doing anything anymore.
If that's the case, then I need to rebuild my pack.
That's
No.
the spirit.
I'll do it with soldiers like us. But to do that, I'll have to speak with Victoria. I'll create a branch in our sect specifically for this. We'll be policed from outside. I can't trust myself to withstand this type of responsibility when I myself am part of the risk.
Look, you just have to remember, we are what we are. Also because our Creator allowed us to be what we are. We can't fight most of us cannot fight our nature as a wolf could fight against its nature.
But our entire existence depends on us fighting that nature. I mean, our nature would dictate that we take all the power we can. And
Yes, but just by understanding that, you will see the others differently. The ones that cannot help it. The ones who are stay true to their nature. You don't have to agree with it. As long as it doesn't turn into excessive indulgence, which this part is, might I add, but you have to pick your fights, Isaac.
I suppose. Wait. Look. And as he says this, you turn and spot that Ruark has gotten up, and he begins exiting the theater, followed by Kian. And as he passes by both you and Isaac, Ruark simply says, "Good evening."
Good evening.
And they both pass by you. And as this happens, Jack begins to approach you, Abel.
When he reaches us, I point out that Rourke and his court have exited.
I don't fucking know what to make of it. I was taught to always have a fucking plan.
Well, we are, though to say, now deep behind enemy lines. We have to make plans as we go.
Brother, I'm afraid that we might become the enemies. Fuck. What about you, Isaac?
Isaac seems a bit lost in thought, and then turns to you and says, I don't think this battle will have any winners, Jack. I just hope
That's for sure.
not too many people are lost in it.
Question is, who loses less?
Yeah, I suppose we should find the others and get ready, because...
Jack.
Hmm?
Also, if things do go sideways for us, would you take the necessary precautions for a quick exit for those who can?
I will try. But my little angel enjoys my connection to his fucking home too much.
Where are the others?
No idea.
You look around and it's pretty easy to spot Larry in the middle of the crowd, getting quite a bit of attention.
Well, as wherever they are. I have a feeling.
Jin is with Javier. Serena is probably with Cecil.
Javier. There's something odd about that dude.
What do you mean?
Something familiar.
I don't know. He reminds me of Titus a bit. Kinda same zero fucks given attitude.
Abel would know that Javier was Titus's teacher on the path.
He just rubs me the wrong way.
Theodore.
And as you have this conversation, we cut to Serena as Cecil has essentially ushered her out of the revelry. And they are both, walking through the streets. And Cecil eventually says, look, things are starting to get dangerous. We should put a plan in place in case something happens.
Like what?
Like more of us dying. You saw how full the room was. There aren't a lot of us in there.
What do you suggest?
We need to find trustworthy allies and start spreading the word. Or, at least we need to make some sort of arrangement with enough elders in the sect that we have some backing.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you do have a seer on your side. So,
A damn good
if
one,
you know
too.
if you know a person, I can always look beyond.
Yeah. Look, right now, there are a few targets more valuable than our pack. Because the others, one of them, he's never in a spot where you can know where he is. Beckett travels a lot. The other two, one of them is a legendary warrior that's never going to be ambushed. And then
Jalan.
you have Vikas.
Jalan, by the way.
Hmm?
Who is Jalan in the sect, by the way?
Someone you should read up on. I believe Beckett has written some things about him.
No, I meant like what's his position in the sect?
Oh. I can only tell you last I checked, but you should read up on it.
You have like books with like what? Who's who?
Beckett has written enough. Trust me, it's better read than me telling you. It's a long story.
Okay. I did recognize though his chant, by the way.
You did?
It's in the it's in the book that she gave me on the Green Pass. It's something.
Green
There's some
Path. Is
similar.
that what it is?
Yeah. Well, no, like basically there were whatever he was chanting, Nordic or something. Well, basically, so I don't know if it was exactly like Nordic, like Scandinavian, because that is still in the European, but basically there are some passages that align. I wouldn't. Maybe it is something from the Green Path, or maybe it's from somebody who developed it.
Maybe. Definitely something to look into. Cecil seems to stop for a moment. And then just with a very quick turn of his head, he then says, "Shall we get back to the theater?"
Yeah, let's go.
And he begins he almost grabs your wrist and begins guiding you through the streets.
Do I see something that he's like worried about?
Do you want to check the streets?
Yeah.
Yep. Perception and alertness, please. And I need to check something in your sheet.
What are these rolls today? One success.
Okay.
I kid you not.
And I need to roll something else. Okay. So. Oh, actually, I missed one dice in the first one.
Actually,
There we go.
I'd probably use my Auspex for that, so...
Hold on. So, you look, and no one's following you, no one's watching you. You're pretty sure there's no one physically following you.
Auspex.
However, and this is not something you're going to use, you start getting this uneasy feeling, like something's about to happen.
Uh-huh.
And as you get this feeling, Cecil seems to be looking around and quickly dips into an alleyway, essentially taking a shortcut to the festivities. And as he turns the corner, you immediately get it. It's this sharp sense of danger. You've gotten it before. You recognize it's your power of Auspex essentially warning you something's about to fucking hit. Cecil, however, doesn't seem to react.
Danger?
So you basically have one action to react to whatever this is.
So I basically grab Cecil by the waist and use my legs jump to basically jump with us both, like do a big fucking leap.
Okay, which direction?
Uh, well, he was just turning like really quickly into the alleyway, so that was already a change
Mm-hmm.
from before. So, like, whatever's gonna hit, like, they're aiming for us now. So it's just going to be like a more like up, like this. So like this, like forward, but more like
Yeah,
up.
trying to go over whatever is about to.
Yeah. What do
Okay.
you want me to roll?
You don't need to roll that. I'll just accept it. So you grab Cecil by the waist, and he's sort of surprised by it. And you give this huge jump. And as you do, you look down, and all you actually see below you is sort of this quick shimmer. And then it fades away almost immediately.
When we're on the top, I actually say to Cecil, "Can you drag us over to the rooftop?"
Well, I'm assuming you made your way to the rooftop with that jump. That's fine.
Okay. Let's get really quickly back to it.
Why? What's wrong?
There was something there. That was an attack we literally just avoided. Death, fatal attack potentially. So
Okay, we need to go then. This way. And as he points forward, you just feel this really cold splatter on your face.
not there.
Hmm?
I tell him
No. Hold on. Just listen.
Ah.
You feel this cold splatter on your face. And as you sort of blink and clear your vision, you see Cecil with his hand sort of curled up and a blade coming through his chest. And behind him, you see Kian, who then lets himself fall backwards, and both of them vanish.
Ooh.
Serena's frozen for a second. Then just like walks over to where Cecil was, just like grabbing at the freaking hand, at the air, and just like looking around. And little by little, she's starting to hyperventilate. She goes back forward to see, like, maybe they fell over the edge. No. And she texts Jack. Can you see into the Shadowlands
Where are you?
rooftop? Kian just
I fucking
disappeared
bet
with.
there.
So you make your way to the rooftop?
Yes.
Okay. Abel, do you join him?
Well, sensing a matter of urgency, I will join him.
Isaac basically runs off, goes to Larry, and then says, essentially, gets his attention and says, "Hey, your group might need you. Don't worry, I'll keep people busy here."
I will nod and run off.
And all of you begin making your way to the rooftops, and not too, like, about 2 rooftops away from you, and with distances that you can very easily, all of you, just jump over. You see Serena looking around, a bit shocked.
Quick,
Your mic didn't pick up.
look into the Shadowlands, quick! They got him.
I cannot.
Um,
I'm sorry, I cannot.
talk to the Shadow. You talk to Titus in the fucking Shadowlands.
Well then, I'm gonna create a ball of shadows in my hands and try to make it a baby. We can't hear you.
What?
You turn
Try
off
to
the mic.
make it what?
I will try to make it be a fucking scrying ball without knowing the ritual. I don't give a fuck about it anymore.
Okay. Make the roll for it, but it's going to be very, very high difficulty since you're trying to improvise this.
Yeah, in that
Essentially,
ball-
it's difficulty 11, so you need 2 10s to succeed.
Yeah, keep in mind I'll spend willpower.
Okay, so you need 1 10 to succeed.
Yes. I know. Wish me fucking luck. Ritual supply?
Stapelesse. Stapelesse.
Miguel, ritual supply?
Yes, I suppose, yeah.
Pelese, all the gods, let me take our vampire daddy back to us, Pelese.
As the classic ritual
Fuck
words
yes!
go.
You also got a
Fuck
1, though,
yes! Yes, still.
which takes away 1 of the 10s.
Yeah.
So you
Well.
try, and you almost feel like you got it, but you attempt to use it, and it doesn't quite work.
I smash the rooftop, just fucking yell, I don't give a fuck, bring him back.
Go tell Vikas what happened. I'm gonna go keep looking. And with more pale face than usual and the beginning of like streaks of blood on her face, she starts going over the rooftops in giant leaps and bounds, just like. And you have a feeling that she knows damn well that this is like absolutely pointless, but she can't stay still.
Larry and Abel, how are you reacting to this?
Larry, you should probably keep an eye on her. It's easier for you to cross those gaps between the roofs than it is for me. I'll be with Jack. I don't think we can split up much anymore.
I nod and go after Serena.
Mm-hmm.
I go catch up with Jack.
Mm-hmm. And as you go at Jack, Serena searching the rooftops with Larry, Jack and Abel, you eventually get into the festivities, and you see Vicus, who's just about to leave. Vicus sees you and says, I know. Where is he? Where? He just vanished.
Shadowlands.
What? And as Vicus says this, all of you immediately feel this sharp sense of sorrow.
Oh,
As if you
motherfucking
just
God.
lost something. And that
Oh no.
and that is where we'll end tonight's session.
Larry, then you hear just an animalistic, like, screech, growl, wail mixed all together.
Oh no.
And this is where
Oh,
we'll
no,
end tonight's
indeed.
session. We
Oh,
hope
my
to see
fucking
you
back.
here next week. Remember to buy Sabbat the Schism, link below. And yeah, see you guys.